Hello, it's me, Doubi. Welcome back. So I've skipped over the intro animation thing because I don't quite like it anymore, so I'm gonna redo it and then put it back in. But anyways, as I was saying, I kind of wanted to go over drawing bodies, poses. I kind of wanted to show like the guidelines I kind of make for myself by one Saturday I just drew a bunch of poses of Willow in a special little outfit, which you will see in just a second. But yeah, I mean, who doesn't want to draw, you know, good anatomy, cool poses, drawing your OCs, doing whatever, you know, doing cool things and hugging their special person. You know, if you want to draw those things, I got you. I've written down 6 tips to give you, you know, maybe like 1,000 experience points in pose drawing. But as I said, we're going to be drawing Willow. This is I call her my mainest of main characters. She is like my very first OC. So let's go ahead and get into the tips. So number 1, I have understanding form. And what I mean by form is essentially 3D shapes. So the difference between, you know, a square and a cube. I've like done this enough to where if I can draw like the silhouette of a shape, but I know the form of it. Like if I draw like the silhouette of a cube, my brain still comprehends like the shapes. It's essentially like I've skipped over like the first 2 steps and I've gotten to the 3rd step without having to do anything, which is just something that comes with practice. So one of the ways I like to do this is to draw over bodies with shapes that just make sense. Like I like to use like cubes, boxes for bodies. It just makes more sense to me than like ovals and ellipses and stuff like that. Not to say that I don't use like round shapes and stuff like that, but like the boxes just make more sense to me and they help me understand 3D space a little better. I have like a little speed paint of like some of like stuff broken down. Not the best. I'm kind of bad at knowing what and how to explain things, so I've done my best on that. And if you guys would like further in-depth kind of stuff broken down, put it in the comments and I will do my best to get to that. I've been trying to slowly make my way through some lists of like suggestions for videos that I put on my Instagram a while back. This was kind of one of them, and I've been doing a lot of like poses and drawing full bodies and stuff like that lately. Anyways, tangent. Number 2 is going to be gesture drawing. There are websites that you can use. One of them is I completely forgot. Line of Action. And there was one other one I used to use, but I can't remember. And one of them only works in the States, so I don't know like another site. I'm sure if you just Google like gesture drawing website, there will be plenty of resources. It's a pretty big thing that artists do. If not, you can't find any, like Pinterest. I know Pinterest kind of like is shady and like here and there in the artist world. I've been using it since I was like a teenager, early teens, so I still use it today, but I keep in mind that, you know, it's kind of shady. Anyways, so if you want to learn like anatomy from it, like go with like 10-15 minutes like video what do you call them, like intervals. So you'll have that image up for like 10-15 minutes and then move on to the next one. If you're not using a website, just set a timer. If you want to capture like more of the flow, do like 1 minute. And what you do with that is you're just gonna draw the like using like S curves and C curves. Like you just want to get the movement of the pose, like that's what you're doing, rather than learning like the anatomy. And if you kind of want to do in between, you can do like 5 minutes. You can get the like skeleton down with like just the like curves and stuff, and then from there like throw on some boxy or just shapes of like the muscles and everything. And that's where I would say that's where like my art really started to look like good. Like I've kind of just learned as I wanted to, and that's really where like I really saw a difference in my work, is when I started to practice gesture drawing and just like anatomy and stuff, and drawing from real life, from just Pinterest photos. Another tip, using pen. I love the G-Tech 0.4 pen. That is like my favorite pen. I think it's a Pilot G-Tech. Fun fact, there is one of my favorite YouTubers uses that pen too, and that's his favorite. I think it's still his favorite. He had a video about finding different pens, so I don't know if it's still his favorite. But anyways, on to number 3, and that is anatomy. Now, you don't need an in-depth knowledge of anatomy to draw. If you want to draw better, you know, it's better to learn. But I didn't, like I just said, like I learned it like when I felt like it. And if you are like grinding and trying to like learn to be good at art really quick, like I would suggest it. But also, you know, just learning, I don't know, it depends on like how you want to learn art. Like if it's a hobby, like just go along at your own pace. If it's like you want to get better for a purpose, like you need to learn it for a project or whatever, like, you know, it would be best. And you know, it's kind of the same thing. Like you can either do studies on Pinterest, you can do the gesture drawing. There's also a lot of artist breakdowns of anatomy that are really helpful. I have like one book of like a not Renaissance, but kind of more way back artist who has like these breakdowns of the human body. I'll see if I remember to find that and put it up for you guys. But yeah, there's lots of resources out there. I also enjoy and did a lot of Proko for like anatomy and stuff, because he goes like in depth. And then I also enjoyed like Sinix's series on like drawing specific parts of the body, but I don't know if that's more rendering or like drawing it. I'll put them both up either way. Number 4 is poses. And this is kind of just, it kind of follows the same like resources and like learning them, because you know, once you learn like form and stuff, like just the movement of the body, and you can like get that down pretty well. Drawing like poses can kind of get a little easier because you understand like the human body, how it moves, like the flow of it, as I keep saying. So like learning that first is really helpful before you start like trying to understand or like make your own poses. Not to say that you can't, of course, I'm just saying it's easier. I love to use Pinterest for stuff like that. Lately I've just been doing like Pinterest memes, just like the random memes here and there on Pinterest. Like I'll draw like my characters, like I'll just find a silly picture and I'll just draw my characters. I did a lot of that last week, and like I had so many drawings. Like I had a ridiculous amount of drawings last week. It was crazy. It's been a long time since I've been able to like actually draw my OCs and draw them like how I imagine them or being just themselves. It's been a long time, so that was really nice. Also when it comes to poses, this like tip can be kind of, I feel like it can kind of depend on like how good or how well you can use your imagination. Like I will use myself as like reference. Obvious, like you can use a mirror or take pictures, but when it comes to like doing poses, I don't know, I can just like imagine like my body moving, and that can be kind of helpful, especially when it comes to like hands and stuff. I can always like imagine like what angle the camera is and then like how my hand is, and so I always know like what side the thumb will always be on, because I can like imagine like that. I don't know, I'm one of those people who can see the apple spinning in my head really well, I guess. But yeah, just I would say like one of the best way to learn poses is to just draw what you see, and then after a while like you have this whole visual library in your brain, and you can kind of just pick from there, or like from there it becomes really easy to make your own poses. It's the idea of like learning the rules so that you can break them. Like you know these poses really well, and so you can just tweak them a little bit, move this hand up a little bit, you know, the leg forward just a bit. Like you understand like how it works, how the body moves once you've like learned all of these other tips. Number 5 is just some little extra tips I have. There's like the first one is like this tip I've found a long time ago. I don't know who put it out on the internet initially. I cannot find it for the life of me. But it's you like draw like a circle where the shoulder is, and then you draw like another circle like where the hand is, and you draw a line between those, like from one to the other, and then you draw a line in, or you mark the middle, and then you draw a line perpendicular to that, and then the elbows like somewhere around there, and I'll have an example up for you guys. Another thing is perspective kind of is somewhat important in all of this, especially if you're doing like the angles a little lower, a little higher. Whenever I'm like drawing someone like from above, I'll draw like a grid on the bottom to kind of help my brain like understand like how the floor is, how it's angled, like with how they're standing. And hopefully again I will have an example and I'll remember to do that, or just have some pictures for examples. But doing that like really helps me to know where to place the feet, and how like the legs are kind of bent so that their feet like touch the floor. I like to use the Procreate perspective tool, and that can kind of help my brain like just imagine like the boxes so that I can imagine like the body. My next little tip is gonna be like, if you have the opportunity to doing little coffee shop drawings where you kind of just draw like random people. You could wear sunglasses so nobody sees you staring at them. I don't know, I haven't done it. I don't have the like places to do it, so I've never really done it. Every now and then like I've drawn a random person or whatever, and I would suggest doing these in pen marker or something that's kind of not erasable, because it kind of helps put a little more thought into the strokes you're making. And I just prefer drawing in pen. My next thing is gonna be drawing over to break down other artists' work, and just be careful doing this, like be respectful. Tracing, breaking down for studying purposes is fine. You just want to be careful, be respectful, like this is still someone's work that they put a lot of time, effort, and energy into. So, you know, I just wouldn't suggest posting it, or like, you know, you could show your friends and show them that like you've put in some work to understand like art, but I would just, you know, not post it. But yeah, like I'll take like a couple of pictures of an artist I really like, and I'll do like the body guidelines that I understand make sense to me, like the shapes that just make my brain understand like, oh yeah, this is how like the form works. Like if I just really like someone's anatomy or something like that, I'll do that to understand how they've broken down like the body, reality, like taken like complex forms and simplified them. Like that's all it is. And you know, that's, as artists, that's what we do. Like we take in information, we simplify it, and we draw a silly little picture. But yeah, so I put 6 tips on here. I don't have another one. What I have here is putting it all together, but this speed paint would be kind of me putting it all together. But yeah, here is my doodles of my silly little girl. Thanks for coming. I hope y'all have a great day. Yeah, thanks and God bless.